Hey everybody, and thank you for doing your daily sign-in into the world of video games. Today we got a bit of Delay Dejavu as Cyberpunk 2077 gets delayed one more time. It looks like The Witcher actually inspired another video game related Netflix series. Ubisoft shared with us a little bit of the performance games that we will see from their games on the next generation consoles. And finally, the PS5s are out of their boxes. People are actually getting a little bit of hands-on. There's still a few review embargoes in there, but we can actually get a little bit of a look into one of the games, the one that gets packed into the box, in the box, which is Astro. Alright, but before we get started, as always, I would really appreciate if you like what you see, make sure to leave a like on the YouTube video. If you're hearing this on podcast services, think about leaving us a review, give us some feedback on how things are going, and also consider checking out all the other content that It's All Fun Again provides on the YouTube channel and other podcast services around the globe as well. Consider ringing that bell so you don't miss another gaming sign-in, alright? Now, let's get started with the first piece of news, which is Cyberpunk 2077 gets delayed one more time. This comes in from their official Twitter account, and they have a little bit of a statement for us. It turns out that today we have this. This is coming from them, from Adam Barowski and Marcin Iwinski, probably butchering their names, but they mention, "Hey everyone, today we have decided to move the release date of Cyberpunk 2077 by 21 days. The new release date is December 10th. They're saying most likely there are many emotions and questions in your head, so first and foremost, please accept our humble apologies. The biggest challenge for us right now is shipping the game on our current gen, next gen, and PC at the same time, which requires us to prepare and test 9 versions of it. Since Cyberpunk 2077 evolved towards almost being next-gen title somewhere along the way, we need to make sure everything works well and every version runs smoothly. We are aware it might seem unrealistic when somebody says that 21 days can make any difference in such a massive and complex game, but they really do." And then they talk a little bit about the fact that they already mentioned that they went gold and what that actually means. Going gold means that you can finish the game from start to finish, but that doesn't mean that it's a polished experience. So even though they have the game already completed, they want to make sure that it's the most polished and quality that they can provide. Now, what does this actually mean for developers and community alike? So does delaying a game actually mean that there's going to be less crunch? Honestly, it's very unlikely in my opinion. Based on reports from people like Jason Schreier, there has been people saying anonymously that they have been working a lot of extra hours, and some of them even clocking in 100 hours, which is insane to think about when a normal full-time job is 8 hours for 8 hours a day for 5 weekdays, which is equivalent to 40. So it's more than double that. And honestly, with a game of this magnitude and scale, you can really tell that there's a lot of people that have passion, because honestly, if you get into games, it's because you really enjoy what you're doing. You really like creating and delivering experiences to the players. So passion takes a big aspect here. But honestly, in my opinion, passion can be very polluted by like the extra crunch in time. Like working so many hours, working for so long can really take an impact on your personal health, your spiritual health, and your mental health for sure. So it's an interesting balance. It's almost a balance of how much can your passion actually outlast all the other things that you have in your life. And honestly, this can be very hard for a lot of people. So my thoughts are with obviously the people that actually have to work the extra time. This being pushed in closer to December 10, it means that now we don't know if the holiday season is going to be interesting for a lot of people that might have to work through it as well. They already had to work through it because once the game comes out, it doesn't mean that they stop. They still have patches, especially nowadays. I think this is a product of the reputation that CDR or CD Projekt Red built for themselves, because honestly, they deliver very high quality games with the Witcher franchise, Witcher 3 being one of the most beloved games in a while, or in the recent times for sure. And the quality bar is up there, and also they want to make sure that they hit that quality bar. But with the amount of content and everything that we're seeing, the amount of detail that we're seeing, it seems like that it's hard to draw the line and say no, this is okay and finish, because a game is never finished. A game is just shipped, and they just want to make sure that they don't want to have the same image that, for example, a game like Fallout 76 had when it released, and a lot of people had very negative views towards it. Same with like No Man's Sky and everything like that. Obviously, very different circumstances, but at the same time, it's an interesting development cycle, to say the least. One thing to note is that Jeff Keighley, the host of the Game Awards, essentially said that much like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate a few years ago, Cyberpunk 2077 will be first eligible at next year's Game Awards. So that means, given that they got pushed so far into the year, especially because December 10th is the day of the Game Awards, if I recall correctly, it means that this essentially means that it cannot be part of this year's Game Awards, and it's going to have to compete against the next generation titles that come out. So interesting. It's all a trade-off, because you have your quality, you have your passion, but then you have your own development, the development force, and making sure that they have the time and resources that they need. And honestly, it means, since we've seen 4 different delays, there seem to be a little bit of planning and management issues with this game, and it potentially has to be with the scope and the vision that they have for this game in particular. But anyway, aside from this, we also received news that Assassin's Creed is gonna get a few Netflix series actually. This comes from GameSpot by Steve Watts. He writes that Assassin's Creed is coming to Netflix, and it's doing so in a big way. Ubisoft and the streaming company have announced plans for multiple adaptations of the Assassin's Creed series, including a live-action version that will be executive produced by Ubisoft's Jason Altman and Daniel Krajnik. Again, I'm sorry for butchering people's names. That series is still seeking a showrunner, and all of this sounds like early days, but it seems like a major partnership. Honestly, and they announced it with just a little logo on their Twitter page for Netflix. But it seems like the Witcher franchise, their Netflix series was very popular, not only among gamers but also non-gamers. Like, for example, I watched it with Miss Funny Games, and she had a lot of fun. She enjoyed it quite a bit. So. And Assassin's Creed has a lot of great things to share with everybody, like the core story, having the animus, and being able to go through different time frames. My hope personally for this particular series is that you can actually go and visit the original Assassin's Creeds, like the Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, where you had Ezio and Altair, because that's when the animus and the shift between present and past had a very interesting story behind it, especially with the animus that was happening there. It seems like the story with the animus was gonna model a little bit as it went along, and more of the focus was towards the actual time eras that they focused on the different games. But I think there's some really cool things that you can get from it, especially with the whole story with the Eden artifacts, and how this feud between the Templars and the Assassins have been going on for so long, and it still carries on to today. So I think that's pretty cool. I hope that they carry that on the series for sure. Now, speaking of Ubisoft, since they own Assassin's Creed, they also shared a little bit of the enhancements for next generation consoles for things like Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and more. This comes from Jordan Ullman from IGN. Essentially, they're pinpointing the different enhancements that you can get. For example, for Watch Dogs Legion, which comes out on October 29th, basically at the end of this week, the Xbox Series X and S enhancements have things like hardware accelerated ray tracing, real-time ray trace reflections, loading times reduced by Xbox, Smart Delivery offers free upgrade from Xbox One to versions of the game, and PlayStation 5 has also very similar things like ray tracing. They are actually taking advantage of the ultra-high SSD. They have obviously the adaptive triggers, and they also offer you a free copy from your PS4 to your PS5 for free. And then Assassin's Creed Valhalla It's very similar. Now they have 4K 60 FPS support for Series S and the PlayStation 5. Plus, although the two consoles are very similar in terms of what they offer for performance outputs for both graphics and frames per second, they have different, but like smart delivery is offered by Xbox Series X, while PlayStation 5 offers more things like the usage of the ultra fast SSD. And although they don't have smart delivery, they do have the ability to upgrade from the PS4 copy to a PS5 copy. So pretty cool to see some of the enhancements. I recommend you check out the link in the description below, especially if you're hearing this on your podcast services around the globe. And for the fun section of the news today, we're going to talk about the fact that there's a costume of Godzilla in Fall Guys. I personally like Fall Guys a lot. If you've seen some of the content in the YouTube channel, I played quite a bit of Fall Guys, especially streaming it on twitch.tv/It'sAllFunAndGames. But for the most part, I really enjoyed that they're doing these crossovers. This Godzilla skin actually looks really cool. You're seeing it on screen if you're watching this in the YouTube version. And it comes with a car that you have on one of the hands, which I think is really, really cool. So both the top and the bottom side of the outfit look awesome. I remember when Fall Guys came out, there was a lot of but everybody wanted to get their skin in Fall Guy when it was very big. And so there was a lot of like fan-drawn costumes, and a lot of companies kind of trying to basically pitch what the costume will look in Fall Guys. So the fact that now we're getting things like Sonic is already one of the Fall Guys costumes, but that one doesn't look as great as this one. Let me tell you, this Godzilla outfit looks way, way better. So yeah, if you play Fall Guys, if you got it as part of the PS Plus collection back in August, or you just bought it on Steam because it was basically the game of the month for that time, go check out it. Go get some crowns and get this skin for sure. And last but not least, the PS5s are out of their boxes. There's a bunch of unboxings going on. All the major media websites and media influencers have the PS5 and have been able to show their unboxing. The PS5 looks big, like in the tall. It almost looks like a medium case for a PC. So it's not like it can fit on any piece of furniture. It definitely does not fit on my desk based on everything that I've seen. And it's definitely the biggest of the consoles that we've seen so far. I always thought that the PlayStation 3 was big, the original one, the brick one, not the slim version. But no, the PS5 is just throws that out of the water, which is kind of makes it a little bit less convenient, for sure. But at the same time, I think I'd rather have the less convenient for space-wise than it is the audio-wise, because the PS4 can get very loud with their fans and everything. And it seemed like they took that into account into the PS5. We'll see when we actually get our hands on it. One thing that I wanted to share, because I am I used to be a platinum hunter for sure back in the day. Back in the PS3, I kind of lost my way on the PS4 era because not had the time anymore. But I wanted to share this. This comes from Kinda Funny Games by Greg Miller. He's showing his first trophy experience from from the PS5, and the main thing to note here is how he got it. It is no longer just shows a screen capture like in the PS4. It actually saves a little bit of a video with a little bit of an overlay animation to show you how you got the trophy, which I think is really, really cool. That actually inspires me to get more trophy because that's something that I can actually share with my friends as opposed to just sharing a screenshot of basically a 2D picture of a platinum trophy. This seems like something worth it, something better to get as part of your experience with the PlayStation ecosystem for sure. But yeah, that's everything that we got for you this week. Thanks again everybody for doing your daily sign-in. Remember, we come to you live on twitch.tv/It'sAllFunAndGames every weekday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you don't catch it there, you can catch it the following day in the morning on video version by watching it on YouTube on It's All Fun and Games channel, or by checking your podcast services. Right now we are on all the podcast services except for SoundCloud, and we are on Spotify, which is freaking amazing. I'm glad everybody has a fun time. Remember, if you want to be part of the conversation, I really want to get your opinion about the Cyberpunk 2077 delay. What do you think it means? How do you feel when you see these kind of delays? Were you looking forward to this game? Do you not really care that they push it a little bit more? Because I know some people actually took days from work to actually go and play this game. So it's kind of interesting to see other people's views and opinions on this sort of matter. So if you want to share that with us, you can do so by writing on the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, or by joining us on the Discord. Again, that will be all in the description below, or by emailing us at itsallfunandgamestv@gmail.com. That is all that I got for you this week, and this is your daily sign off.